to practice. We need to practice every day so that we can be diligent on the practice. Always ask the question, raise the doubt, so that the practice from the stage of us keep forgetting the practice to the point where we become familiar with the practice. And then gradually we become close to the practice. And when we are close to the practice, that is equivalent to also raise the thought of birth and death, and eventually lead us to be able to see our true self-nature, or liberating ourselves from the sea of suffering. Each of us need to have such ambition on the practice. Always find a way to overcome, the challenges, the karmic habits, ignorance and attachment. And find a way to put the practice into, to put effort into the practice. So always return to the practice, ask the question, raise the doubt, ask the question sincerely and diligently. So anybody in the temple or on Zoom have any questions about the practice, or any of you have any feedback for the practice session, feel free to bring up your comments. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. Pháp hỷ, please. Cô Pháp hỷ. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. Dear Thầy and the audience, like you said in the morning, you keep reminding us every day, but today I feel I truly get it. We keep not believe in our true mind, and instead we keep follow and chase after our deluded mind. Every single thought that arises, we keep running in the deluded mind. I raised the thought of become a monastic and always assume that I believe in the true mind. But from listening to you talking in the morning, I feel ashamed on my practice. Could you please talk more about it? Thầy said, we need to get the fundamental of the Buddhism and always strengthen our belief in the mind. In order to do that, we have to maintain the practice, ask the question clearly and uninterruptedly. Doesn't matter what other thoughts come and go, we put them aside and keep in mind the thought of impermanence. Keep in mind that birth and death is the greatest issue. Our Buddha and our patriarch always remind us, but if we forget, about the issue of birth and death, then we are not believing in the mind, because we keep chasing the external conditions. We lose ourselves, and the more we chase after those conditions, the more distracted we will get, and we will feel unstable, and not able to practice. Sometimes we're not even able to eat or sleep because of things that are not important. And the reason is because we lose the fundamental of our practice. And the fundamental thing here is to transcend attachment. How do we transcend attachment? We just need to maintain the doubt. We don't need to find a treatment for it. We just need to maintain a doubt. Then how do we maintain the doubt? How do we prolong the doubt uninterruptedly? The only way is to keep raise the question. Doesn't matter how suffer we feel, how suffering we feel, we keep raise the question. Before my parents were born, what did my original face look like? Repeatedly. And we keep asking and keep practice like that. Or as for other who ask the other question, before heaven and earth came into existence, what was I? This body that we are carrying, it's just a combination of the four elements. Why do we have to suffer because of that? If we can maintain the doubt, then automatically we can get back to the fundamental of the practice. If we don't put our ego into the things we do, we will feel very comfortable. Each of us has our own capacity, our own ability. We don't need to try to stretch ourselves too much. We just need to do what we need to do and maintain the practice. And the practice will help us not putting our ego into the things we do, and therefore we won't feel gaining or losing, right or wrong on anything we do. So we just need to rely on the practice, but because we tend to forget, lose the practice, and fall into attachment, into the things that not important, and that's why it makes us suffering. But that has become our karmic habits from the time with our beginning. We make ourselves suffering. So how can we get out of that? It's not just us, but if you see around, you can see other people also so pitiable. But we cannot do anything for them. They have to practice themselves. The Buddha with the patriarch, and the wise teacher with their compassion, they can only teach us the practice, but we have to put out the effort ourselves, or else we will just make ourselves into the suffering. Nobody make us suffer. We are the one who do that to ourselves. So only us can untie ourselves from that knot. So in order to do that, we need to use the practice, ask the question, raise the doubt. And automatically we will become, equal to everyone. Doesn't matter whether they are close or not close to us. And automatically we will go align with the teaching of the Buddha. We just need to be clear on one Dharma for us to be clear on all other Dharmas. So don't make us don't put us into suffering. Just now return to the precepts, to the rules, knowing that, the karmic habits will keep recurring itself. And even if we see, if we feel ashamed when we recognize our mistakes, we keep, if we don't, because we lose the practice, we keep making mistake again and again. Like the Buddha taught in the Nirvana Sutra, the person who feel ashamed is a good person, is deserve appreciation. The person who know to fix their mistake deserves appreciation. But for the people who make mistake but keep assume that they are doing it right, that they are in a big trouble. But for the people, and then for the people who make mistake, know that they do it wrong, but still they don't want to fix their mistake, that is even worse. But the people who make mistakes but get reminded by the wise teachers and willing to fix their mistake, those people are just equal to the people who don't make mistake. Because once they can make their mistake and not doing it again, they are just equal to the one who don't make mistake. So those people, the one that know that they are doing wrong and find a way to fix their mistake, deserves appreciation. The Buddha, during the time when he was the prince, when he went and seek out learning from all of the great teachers, but after that he recognized that the thing that he learned still not able to lead him to liberation. He know he made mistakes, so he find a way to go back on the right path. He make an example for us. So for us, we as Buddhists, we have to practice following the right Dharma and not going the wrong path. That lead us to slandering Buddhism. That is very unfair for us. So we need to get the fundamental of Buddhism, believe in the mind and transcend attachment. Don't let those attachments control us any further. Now that we know about the Dharma, we have to be even more cautious. Return to ask the question, raise the doubt. Cô Hải has a question. Nam Mô Sakya Muni Buddha. Dear Thầy, dear everyone, from your teachings, I gradually feel like my understanding from the teaching increased. For me, during the time when I was sick in the hospital, I went through a lot of pain. Every day they take my blood, do blood tests on my arm. A lot of my arm got swollen from those blood tests. I was very skinny at the time. And when I get back home, I was not able to even get a spoonful of rice. At the time, I feel like I just want to be able to eat. And when I come to this temple, I was a Vietnamese, an immigrant come to the US at the time. I feel very everything new to me. I don't know English well, and the weather is very cold for me. And from that experience, I feel like there's nothing even more suffering than what I've been through. So after accept this Dharma and live in this temple, I feel very happy. I feel they are lessons for me, and every day I learn more lessons and listen to your teachings. I I feel truly appreciated. When some of my brothers come to this temple, some of them said, this Dharma is not the Dharma that was written in the book. And further, they here they don't do the funeral activities. So how can you get money? Why don't you come out to a different temple so you can do the funeral activities and get money? So I decided to overcome a lot of challenges, left my parents at home, left my family uh, behind, so I can find a way to find the path to liberation, not just for me, but for my family in the future as well. I understand how difficult for me to find this path, and therefore I try to improve every day, be respectful to people around me, and be cautious with every words that I say, um, to not make other people feel bad. And every time I did something that I feel like not right, I uh, repent on the mistakes myself. And I know that because I lose the practice. That's why I did some mistake. I want to say thank you to your teachings every day. It's very useful for me as a monastic to learn every day, to overcome, to improve in my life. Thank you, thầy. I hope you give me more advice. Nam Mô Buddha. Thầy said the conditions here, even for us, we become a monastics. We had the chance to meet a lot of wise teachers, a lot of great teachers. I feel very lucky because it's not easy to meet the wise teachers, but I was able to meet a lot of them. And I was able to recognize their teachings are good. But how do we recognize what is the right teaching, what is the right Dharma, how to find a way to truly get the idea of the Buddha and the Patriot? We need to practice well. We are still on the path of cultivation. Therefore, we're not able to truly understand everything yet. But the more we practice, the more we will feel appreciative of the teachings. How do we truly appreciate the teachings? We have to always reflect, always practice, so that we can truly appreciate the teachings, not just on words. So we have the great conditions to meet this Dharma of this method of Patriot Zen. For example, during the time of lay master Wei Li, when he established the temple. At first, he rented out a place for people to practice to create a retreat. He first rented a place in Anaheim, and he rented out to live. But then people come a lot, and then the restroom get broken, and the owner didn't let them stay anymore, so he had to come to Garden Grove. And only when there's the lay master there, then the audience come there a lot. But when the lay master is not there, or when he visited Vietnam, then people don't come to practice. Well, you can see that at first lots of people come to practice, but then gradually there's not that many people come to practice anymore. Only a few old people keep coming back again and again, and gradually they just go and speak themselves. And our lay master was very patient to everyone. Or even when I stay in Canada, when we use the phone, they also checking on us, stalking on us to see, because they assume that we are spy, etc. So they even check out our conversation on the phone. And we also get scolded by the people who check our conversation, you know. And then I just, not care too much about that and not let it become an issue. So back to our lay master Wei Li. For the temples in Anaheim or Garden Grove, when we didn't have enough money to pay, they took back the place. And then later on, we come here and buy this place. At first, there's a lot of challenges within the audience as well. Some people want to work more. Some people want to hold more power within the audience. And some tend to get lazy, etc. And some of them even talk back and forth, slander, or want to kick this person out or that person out, etc. They create a lot of issues to the lay master, but our lay master just keep practicing. He doesn't let those become an issue. He never uh, asked anybody to get out. He never kick anybody out. He if they want, they can leave, but our lay master never push anybody away. Even we feel challenging for our lay master, but he never feel those as challenges. Even when the lay master want to buy the cassette player, he has to gather the committee before he can buy a cassette player. And some of the Buddhists feel unfair for our lay master, so they just buy the cassette player for him. So you can see during his time, it's way more difficult. But our lay master still just focus on teaching people and practice himself. He was very patient. He doesn't get angry or anything. So from there, we can look back on ourselves. Only from the practice, we will be able to recognize the act of the Buddha or our patriot. You can see their acts go with transcending the attachment, no self, and only for others. Some of us only focus on, other things that not important. They only care about their ego, and they create a lot of conflicts with other. Like in the past, same thing for me. I also compare myself with other brothers, and I feel like they do so well. Should I also go out and conduct funeral activities? There's a lot of people invited me to do that. Why don't I just go and do it? But, I decided to just focus on patriot Zen. I feel like nobody focus on doing the patriot Zen, so I will do it to maintain the meditation. Other acts, a lot of people already do it. Why do we have to compete with them? I just decided to focus on doing something that other people don't do, which is practice meditation. Only when we have a strong willpower of practice, then we can follow a long way. Like the patriot advised us, the gray horse, have to lead the way, and go first and lead the way, and leave behind the horses that is weak. For the horse that is weak and doesn't want to run, we just to have let them be. So it's all up to us to practice and hold on to the fundamental of Buddhism. If we lose the pearl in our sleeve, then we will suffer. Kim Yến, please. Sakyamuni Buddha, dear thầy, dear teachers and practitioners. In the morning, when you talked about our differentiation of our consciousness, when we keep discriminate on individuality, right or wrong, like even when we practice, we also discriminate whether we practice right or wrong, whether there is doubt or not. So right now we still use our consciousness to practice. So it's very difficult to not raise the thought of discriminating. Even for the belief in the mind, it's not complete, it's not enough. And when we keep, like differentiate between right, wrong, good, bad, even when we listen to your teachings, when we put into practice, we still follow our karmic habits. It's so difficult. Could you please talk more about this so my mom can understand better? Thank you, thầy. So our attachment make us suffering. Our differentiation generate the attachment. Everything is not outside of the mind. Everything is non-dualistic. But because of our ignorance and attachment, we keep seeing two different things, this and that. It has become a karmic habit from the time without beginning. It has become a form of sickness of sentient being, because of their attachment that lead them to delusion. Once we are able to, we don't forbid people from not having discernment. As long as they don't generate attachment, then it's fine. So when we talk about entering the stream, exiting the stream, good or bad, it's just skillful means from the Buddha. When we practice we have to follow the right Dharma. The right Dharma is to end attachment, which means to end duality, to end subject and object. Our practice come from coarse to subtle. And entering the stream means to move away from the object. And when we move away from the object, then we don't we will not differentiate between motion versus motionless. Like in the Hangim Sutra, the two monks were fighting over the wind, the form of the wind. But actually, because of their mind getting attached, that's why there's fighting between them. It's all because of the deluded mind. And in order to end that attachment conception, the deluded conception, we need the practice. So we don't forbid people from not raising any thought. we just want people to not fall into attachment. Like when we are sick, when we take medicine, the medicine not only kill the virus, but it also kill the good cells within us. But if we are strong enough, even when the the bad cells got killed and most of the good cells got killed, there's still the good root cells there that can regenerate itself. So right now we are still attached, generate attachment on our worldly conception. So we need to maintain the doubt. At first we still say, or we still discriminating with the doubt. But then this doubt will sweep clear all attachment or deluded conception. So these are still just explanations, which is skillful means for us to apply the practice. We need to believe in our true mind and enter the stream, not believe in the consciousness and exit the stream. So what should we do now? If there's no Buddha, if there's no patriarch and wise teacher, it's impossible for us to stay on our path of liberation. With the written words, you can see that the Buddha, the patriarch, give out a lot of examples. All the words are just languages and illusion. The Dharma is for us to get enlightened, not to talk about. So the Buddha negate everything he say, so that we can focus on the practice. Even the skillful means, the greatest skillful means, the direct skillful means, they still skillful means. So don't treat the Tao as an object for us to hold on to, because if we do that, we fall into subject and object. That's why we have to rely on the wise teachers and our Dharma friends, and use that skillful means to help us be on the right path. So to simplify everything, this Huatou investigation, we ask the question, raise the doubt. The doubt will help us to not raise the discriminating thought. But it's not like we don't allow people to not knowing, not seeing, to cover their six senses. We still let them use their senses, but not raise the deluded thought. And that's why we said we have to face the external condition when we practice, not to run away from them. And always ask the question, raise the doubt, be close to the wise teacher, rely on the rules, the precepts, of the temple to help us not raise those ignorance and attachment, to not raise the attachment conception. We have to practice and also ask question to make sure that we practice effectively. So we ask the question to help us practice, not to increase our knowledge, or else we will go into the path of ignorance. That would be unfair for us. Do you understand? She said, yes, thank you, thầy. The time is up. Goodbye, everyone. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha.